Okay, I want to say good afternoon, LaVida Loca.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Good to have a woman on the platform. We've been having a long conversation off the camera, but I think, and I'll first off shout out your manager. He's told me a lot of positive things about you.
Love that.
So let me just actually start on there. How did you guys connect, you and your manager Anthony?
Through Instagram, actually. When I met my manager, he was A&Ring at a record label, Sony, and I think our interaction at first was to sort of get me under the label, but then in that meeting me, playing my music, it was a great connection. And then after that, like he messaged me and was interested more in managing me than A&Ring me kind of thing. And yeah, we just literally started the journey from then. This was back in September, and I was very
Last year.
Yeah, last year. It wasn't LaVida Loca now. It was completely like he really met me from when I was still very like trenchy, should I say, and sort of picked me up and believed in me. And in this short amount of time, I've polished up a bit. I've started to realize what I want to focus on a whole lot more. But that's just good direction, I guess. So yeah.
So you said trenchy. So like, where does it start? Like, where does your journey begin? Like, what part of London are you from?
Well, to be fair, I'm from South. Like I always claim South, but I've moved around from South. I've lived in Southwest. I've lived in Southeast, but I have quite a few, like, I'm cool with quite a few places and people in South London. But I've moved around a lot my whole life. I've been in care like growing up, so I've moved out of London. I've lived in Newcastle. I've lived in Essex. I've lived in Nottingham. I've lived everywhere, kind of thing.
Is that destabilizing? Because I'm hearing you say that like that being displaced doesn't sound like.
No, it doesn't sound. It wasn't great. No, I say that, but I would be kind of like before I went to jail, being in care, I would be living in like Newcastle, but always run away back to London. Like that was the story of my life, just trying to get back to London. That was always my battle with the police, battle with everybody. I've always wanted to be in South, but yeah, I've lived everywhere else, kind of thing.
Yeah, I've been to Newcastle quite a few times. There's not too many.
So far.
Yeah, you're practically next door to Scotland. But early doors. So then, how does that shape your character? Like having to move around a lot.
I feel like it shaped my character well because I went to school in Essex, so I'm very girly. Like I love makeup, I love hair, I love nails, I love all of these things. But then going to London and then my life being my life, people wouldn't expect me, being on the roads, people wouldn't expect me to look or sound or act how I am. But all the kind of like girliness that comes with it is through like having different areas, growing up in different areas and, you know, being in different environments kind of thing. I wasn't always on the roads. I was also around, you know, girls and Essex and Newcastle Geordies, and I was around normality kind of thing aside of the roads kind of thing. So I feel like it's all merged into my personality, and that's why I feel like people find it hard to understand me. They look at the outside and then can't fathom what I'm saying because of how I look or how I act. Yeah. But that's just my mixed personality from, yeah, literally, like you said, identities from wherever I've lived.
When I first heard one of your freestyles, I was like, is this real? That's the first thing I was thinking. Like, this just sounds it sounds foreign because again we do the optic test. We look at a person, and be like, what? There's, you know, and yeah. But hearing you even saying that, like moving around, but in terms of like just even like schooling, like is it? Unsettling, like you're in a school, you may be getting on with people, then you're up and you're leaving it again, or.
It was unsettling, but I hated school. I hated all of that things. With me, it was, I hold on to personal attachment. So everybody I met, say, in one school, even if I moved to another, I was happy for the change. I can't stay with one thing for too long. So when I went to 5 different schools and I didn't even finish school. So that was kind of a lot of movement. But I was sure to take the people that I liked with me on my journey. I've been used to change. I think maybe that's being a care kid too. I've been used to change and it's never been frightening or scary. It's just been, right, when you're changing, who are you bringing along the ride? There's girls now that I still speak to that I went to school with, but that was maybe 4 schools ago. Kind of like, it was in my first school. I still speak to them and I don't speak to girls that I met in the last school. It's just, I feel like I'm attached. I get attached to people rather than environments and situations.
Can you speak about what put you into care, or is that something that you can't talk on?
I feel like it was my own behaviour kind of thing. My parents, they were good to me kind of growing up, but I was in like kind of an unstable environment. My parents were illegal immigrants for like most of my life. My dad was very heavy on alcohol. I wouldn't like to say he was an alcoholic, but he used to drink a lot, and that used to cause a lot of issues in our household. And that was probably what added to me wanting to be out of the house rather than in the house. So it was just kind of like running away a lot, getting arrested all the time. My parents they just had enough.
Does that create abandonment issues at all?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I would say so.
Because you're probably, even though you're doing the negative, you're probably still thinking that, but they're always going to come and get me.
Yeah, as in you hope so. Like, but I feel like I got used to just being on my own. Like now, I'm now trying to do the reverse of now allowing people to get to know me, allowing people to get close to people. As in, I've been used my whole life to making like relationships. I can talk all day, I can talk to you for hours, but not allowing people to get to know me. I've been used to navigating my life like that way. Now I'm trying to do the opposite because I'm trying to understand and acknowledge, like not everyone's going to abandon you and leave you in your life. People are actually here to get to know you and stay and love you and be a part of whatever world you're in. They're not just going to up and leave. I'm trying to get used to the fact that I can make friends and it's okay. I can get to know people and it's fine. I'm still trying to process that in my mind, kind of thing, but I'm getting there. It's growth.
Yeah, it's not easy because especially coming out into the industry you're in, like a lot of people have industry friends that you get close to and you realize it's not really that. So, but okay, so then you spoke about obviously getting in trouble with the police, and as we now know that you had to be in jail for how many years were you in jail?
4.
4.
Just over 4. But
Wow, like when you come in front of the judge, or I don't know how it's set up, and they hit you with the numbers, like what actually goes through your mind?
Well, I had 3 different cases, which is why I did so long. So when I first got sentenced, I was happy. I got sentenced for one sentence. I got found not guilty for another. But then I was in prison and caught an outstanding charge, which then added more time. And when I had that sentence in, I was expecting more. I started off at double figures. I started off at 12 years. And then the judge added my mitigation and it slowly got knocked off. But when I heard the 12, when you hear that, you expect to get that. But then as he's knocking off time, and now you're sentencing this 5 years on this case, it was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. I feel like I've dealt with all of my sentencing that way because I've always expected the worst kind of thing. Hasn't really been too much of a knock for me, but maybe because I expected longer. I expected to do a whole lot longer than I did in prison, to be fair. If I was a man, I probably would have.
I'm just, again, I'm trying to process. So you get the time you get, like, what's your concept of your future then? Like, if it's like you're in jail, like, do you still have like, okay, is music an option? Do you have any sense of what you're going to do in life?
At that point, I didn't have no sense of nothing. I didn't care about anything. When I went to prison, I was 16, so I was still like a very misled, wild girl. In terms of anybody trying to talk to me about anything that mattered in adulthood, I didn't know, I didn't care, wasn't really trying to hear it, kind of thing. But through my sentence is when I started to think about what do I want to do now beyond prison and beyond road. But that's when, after I turned 18, I got my extra sentence. I've been in jail now 3 years at this point, and it was getting closer to my release date when I started to think, what am I going to do? I wasn't sure that music was ever going to pay. I just used to like to write and like to do music. So when you're in jail thinking about real job prospects, nothing really came up, and I started to stop really dwelling on it. I just started to think, when I get out kind of thing. But no, I didn't have any job prospects.
Is the system designed to rehabilitate people, do you reckon?
No. No, it's not. I don't think so at all. I feel like the system is just built it's punishment. You can get given a punishment. Am I supposed to be looking at you here?
Not at me.
Okay, cool.
So I'm just making sure everything's okay for you.
No, it's a punishment. I don't feel like it's rehabilitated anybody. I feel like I got to a point in my sentence where I felt rehabilitated. I felt like, I want to come out and do good and da-da-da-da. But then I got too long and you start to miss that point. I feel like that happens with everybody. I feel like people get too long past the point that could have rehabilitated them when there's not enough courses in prison. There's not enough education courses. So once you've done a certain level of courses, there's nothing else you can do. So you can't gain no more knowledge. You can't do anything else that's benefiting you physically. There is nothing else. There's no more resources for you. So after you start to reach them points of your sentence, it's like, why am I still here? And then you start to get bitter. You start to feel angry. So everything that could have stayed in your head to make you rehabilitate when you come out into the community, it's kind of like thrown up, like above your head kind of thing. It's out the window because you've done too long now. I feel like the sentences are not given to you for a rehabilitation. They're given to you for punishment. If it was a case-by-case basis of breaking down, how long does this person need to actually, maybe pattern up? Nobody would get as long as they get. No one needs 12 years to realise maybe something they did at 16 was wrong. but they'll hand out them sentences. That's because there's no correlation between rehabilitation and sentencing. It's just punishment. It's just your crime's that bad, you get that long. But I don't feel like they care about whether that's actually fixing you in there, or because especially in female prison, I don't feel like females are gracious. We're maternal, we're women. Females don't actually want to commit crime. From my experience in prison, there was a small percentage of girls that were in there for smoke, and they don't care, and that's just what they're on. A lot of women I met in there were like homeless, in poverty, struggling, and they were just lost. And a lot of their help came from a man that probably wanted to either get sexual benefits, get financial benefits, just gain from them. They didn't have help in a real way. They had help in a way that misled them to jail, kind of thing. I feel like women, especially female prisoners that I met, I don't feel like it's crime and rehabilitation that's needed. It's just help. It's help in poverty. It's help in the streets. It's help with where they need it, kind of thing. But that's not acknowledged in our government, so that's a whole nother conversation.
But when you were coming out on your release, was at that point that you knew that music will be the avenue for you, or were you still figuring it out?
When I was in jail, I used to I used to write music a lot. I wrote a lot of music. I used to write music all the time. I was sure I wanted to be a rapper. I was sure I wanted to be a musician, and that's what I used to, say. I used to voice that a lot. People used to ask me what I'm going to come out of prison and do, and I used to say I was going to rap. But that's not because I felt like I didn't know what was going to happen. That was just something I enjoyed doing. I was good at. I feel like I can push it. If it happens, it happens. But I don't have any other real job prospects, so I'm still going to do road. That was kind of where I was at, like, coming out.
Yeah. I mean, I do wonder, like, when you do realise music can be an opportunity, do you just think that's it? It's only music because I can't be doing, not like a normal job, but, like, you seem well put together. I'm not saying that you're but it's like, women, there's a higher price when it's, like, comes down to, like, maintenance and just things like that. Did you see that music is the avenue for you to actually have the life that you actually want to live?
Not even so much the life I wanted to live. Music was the only thing I saw that could get me off the roads. Like, not even just the life I wanted to live. It was the only thing that would get me legit. That's how I saw music and how I still see music. I feel like my criminal record is too crazy to get a real job. I feel like I'm not exposed to enough opportunities from where I come from to even know, even if without a criminal record, what I can do. There's just so many barriers, and I feel like music was the only thing that you're free to do. You can just put a video on YouTube and release your music. There's no restrictions. There's no one telling me they're going to do a DBS check on me whether I can release music. I can just do it, and I feel like that's why it's been easy to push what I love, kind of thing. It's been easy to push this goal because there hasn't been obstructions that there has been with everything else.
So look, when you're upon release of jail, music, were you sure that that's going to be the pathway for you?
Yeah, like I was sure that was all I was gonna do, to be fair. Like, I put so much of my time and energy in music in jail. Like, I used to write over songs, not even instrumentals. There's times we didn't have instrumentals. I'd hear a song on the radio, love it, write over it. There's times I have to try and get like blank CDs, like smuggled in kind of thing, because we weren't allowed blank CDs, just to get instrumentals in. There's a certain jail I went to where you could buy like instrumental CDs. I bought a few. I was just writing. When I came out, I was putting my own money into studio, just doing what I was doing. But I feel like I was at a very like naive place. I didn't know how many people were trying to rap. I didn't really know society, about social media, about how everything had kind of developed. I didn't realise there were 5 videos dropping on GRM and link up and mixtape madness every single day. I didn't know what it was like in a scene. I just knew I can rap, I want to rap, and I just sort of like continued in that sort of like head frame, and things sort of came to me. I feel like if I had known how hard this industry thing was and how hard music was, it might have like knocked me a bit. But I was in my own bubble. I just went through things as they sort of happened. Me even kind of getting the opportunities I had was through going viral, through putting a video on Snapchat, and then it's gone viral over social media, and then my opportunities kind of bounced from that. I wasn't expecting things to happen. I just did it. I just went through it. I just knew this is all I want to do, and that's all I did. But I feel like that's why now I'm a strong believer in manifestation. I believe in manifesting what you want to achieve, believe in what you want to achieve, and it does come to you, because that's my experience. I didn't push and try and find music and source music. I just made it, and I'm thankful, kind of. But yeah.
I mean, in jail, so like, what are the kind of characters in jail, like the different characters?
Oh, mate. A lot of the jail is filled with drug addicts. Every jail is filled with, in female jail anyway, majority of the jail is drug addicts. So then there's also, after that percentage, is older women. I was the youngest in a lot of the prisons I went to. Only maybe the last year of my sentence, as I've got older now, I'm 20 now, I'm not the youngest anymore. There's now 18, 19-year-olds. But for most of my sentence, I was the youngest prisoner in all of the prisons that I've sort of been to. I was surrounded by older women, normal women, mothers, sisters, aunties. It was a lot like a sisterhood. People think, I don't know what male prison is like. I'm only speaking of female prison. They think it's going to be very, violent and harsh and whatever. But I feel like that's just, it depends on how you ride your own journey. As long as you're yourself, you're honest, no one can't argue with the truth. That's prison. Then everybody's there is just welcoming. Everybody's there is more comforting. I feel like female prison is a whole lot more together than male prison. Everybody looks out for each other in female prison. I definitely met Rose West but I didn't know that was Rose West. To me, she was just an old lady with glasses on and shiny shoes. Used to clean the wing. I didn't know who she was.
Who's Rose West?
I didn't know who she was until I come out and I googled her. She killed like 10 kids with her husband back in like the 70s or 80s or something. You would have heard of her. There's only 3 women that have ever got life with no parole. She's one of them. And I met 2 of them. One of them is dead. But meeting these women at face value, you do not know that they are capable of such. You wouldn't even think so. Rose West is an old lady. You think she'd be your next door neighbour. But this is someone who is one of the most notorious female criminals in the whole of the United Kingdom. Do you get it? Like, you meet so many different kinds of women. But what does a female prisoner look like? I get told I don't look like a criminal. I've done what I've done. But what does a criminal look like, kind of thing? And that's just female prison. It's your street. What you see all the women on your street from tanned and tattoos and this and short and fat and that's prison. It's just full of different kinds of women, different shapes, different sizes, stand for different things. Muslim women in hijabs, and it's a whole community.
But what? I mean, I don't want to go too much, but what's a week like in prison? What do you guys look forward to in prison? If that makes sense, like.
Friday, I'm brocking it out on the wing. That's what we used to do. No. There wasn't much to look forward to. Visits, I'd say. Visits was what you look forward to. Don't forget, there's a lot of people there with children, so people look forward to their visits with their kids, with their husbands, with whoever. Like I was saying off camera, Friday was the day that we got longest out in terms of association. We'd be out for 6 hours. So that would be the day when us, like YOs, I was on a YO wing for a lot of my sentence as well. We'd get ready. Yeah. Okay. We'd get ready and do our makeup just before we get unlocked. And then when we've got unlocked, all the girls are ready, hair and makeup. We'd go into we call it the IT suite. We literally was that, and play music and dance and vibe and just make a good time out of our situations, kind of thing. I feel like it's easier also in female prison because we're a lot more fluid and more closer in terms, like, I don't know, men are not as close as women are. We can replace a man's aura because there's also lesbians that are butch and dyke and give off a male energy. There's also, you don't really miss the real world. I feel like female prison is more closer to reality, but a fake reality, than male prison. You've got lesbian relationships, that's normal. And then it's just like a little mini world. It's just like a little mini world from outside in prison, kind of thing. And that's how I felt about jail.
Did your family come and visit you in jail?
Yeah. My mum and dad visit me pretty much every month. Maybe a few times in a month as well. My parents visited me regularly throughout my whole sentence. I think that also built our relationship a whole lot closer from when I was telling you about the care and stuff. My whole time in prison allowed me to come out and forget all of the past and just let's start again because of how good they were to me during what was a hard time.
Yeah, I was just thinking of how must they have felt like with all that happened to you. Okay, so when you get out, what's the first thing that you realise changes? The iPhone? Is it social media? What's the first thing you think, right, it's just different now?
People are married, pregnant, got kids. There was a few boys that I used to chill with before I went to jail, famous now, touring, doing this, rap music's evolved. Like, life had changed, as in I was so detached to the world in prison. Like, I got into my sentence. I really put my head in jail. I wasn't, up until maybe the week I was sure I was coming home because I got a lot of extra time, a lot of extra days, until the week came where I knew, okay, cool, I'm getting out this week. I was so detached. I was so detached to the road. So when I've come out now, it was a shock to see how much people had changed. To even see how what my mum likes to do now, where she likes to go now. And, she doesn't even shop at Sainsbury's no more. Now she likes to shop at Tesco. But when did you like to do that? Like, as in, it's little things you start to clock people change. Like, so yeah, I don't think it was the world. I don't think it was social media. That is adjustable. You start to learn how to use things. But trying to figure out people after missing their life for nearly 5 years. It's a lot to try and catch up on. So I fell out with a lot of friends that I had before jail, as in we've just outgrown each other. You're a completely different person to who I thought you would have been. And yeah, I've even built new relationships that I wouldn't have felt I would have built before jail. It's just been a really, yeah, it's been an eye-opener coming out. It's been an eye-opener to who I am, to what I want to do now, definitely, and who I want to be around.
Is there ever, not a worry, but like, because you spoke a bit about how, not you got your head right into the sentence, but when outside is abnormal and inside is normal, is there ever a mentality you're thinking like, I want to go back to what I know was kind of like housed you for the last 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, that's how I felt when I came out of prison. When I got released, I got released to probation hostel. So they deemed me so high risk, I wasn't allowed to my address. It's called what's it called? Approved premises. So I got released on approved premises. I was on tag. This is in Bedford. There's only 2 for women, one in Reading, one in Bedford. For males, there's quite a few dotted around, but females, Bedford, Reading. So if you don't live anywhere near there, you're pissed, kind of thing. So I was in Bedford, and I was kind of alone. I'm on tag. I don't know what's going on the roads. I don't know nothing. At that point, I felt like I can't deal with society. I want to go back to my normal, which was prison. At that point, I really felt like I was going to do something to get myself sent back to jail. I was comfortable with that idea. It's only people around me that allowed me to push through that thought. People around me really showed me, you don't want to go back there. And they really tried their best to pull me out of that kind of like negative headspace and show me what was out here. And slowly but surely, I started to see, nah, there's freedom out here. I can eat what I want. I can do what I want. And I had to get used to wanting to be out here. I had to find my own reasons why I preferred to be out here than in there. But at first, no. At first, it felt better to be what I knew as normal, and that was jail. If I didn't have people around me, I probably would have gone back. I was so happy and content with the idea of just putting myself back in a cell, because I couldn't deal with what society, how different society was to what I thought it would have been. But yeah, I'm glad that wasn't the case. I won't be here now.
Yeah, no, that sounds crazy. So how long did you have those restrictions for when you're saying that you have to be in Bedford?
I had to be in Bedford for 3 months. And then when was I allowed home? Yeah, literally, I think I did over 3 months. I did about 4 months in the AP, and then they finally let me home. I was on tag for 5 months, and then they finally took me off. I didn't think I was even going to be taken off tag when I was taken off. They put a lot of restrictions on me, and even now, I've still got a lot of restrictions on me, and I've been out for 1.5 years now. Anybody who's on probation will kind of like, no, I'm still on fortnightly appointments. Been out for 1.5 years, I shouldn't be. I should now be well and truly into, you're calling me now when I should be coming into probation, but I'm still on such a heavy license still. But there's not long left. I don't have much long left, so I'm just kind of going through it. And I feel like I'm used to this being my normal life, going to probation. Every week I have to pick up the phone call to my probation officer because of the coronavirus thing. It's not in appointments, but I'll be going about my day, and then I forget, probation's calling me because I've got a weekly appointment. I get snapped back out of normality because I have to remember, you're still on license, you're still this high risk offender, you still have to deal with them things. But yeah, I don't feel like it's a good process. I don't feel like it is, but
what I'm trying to, because I know like coming out and like I said to you, your bars were so hard. I was thinking like, yeah, I said to you before, I was like, I thought it was a troll. I was thinking, cause I look at you like beautiful lady, like slight in frame. I'm thinking from where does this happen? And then, but I'm thinking that because you come from such a real situation, it must be hard to adjust into like the rap scene's version of what is real and what is fake. It is. And I'm sure Anthony knows he had to have a few interventions into that.
Yeah, he's had to have a lot of interventions. I've spoke on things I've been told you might not want to, and I've had opinions that when you get into the music business you start to realise don't matter. And I feel like that's been not just musical growth, but that's been personal growth, as in I've learned opinions that I've had from the roads, as in, oh, he's a snitch, or he's this, or he's that. When it's now come to music now, yeah, he maybe snaked his brethren on this and I won't fuck with him in the real world, but this person is still going to put 100 bags in my pocket. So business-wise, does that even matter? Because that 100 bags is going to put a roof over my mum and dad's head. It's going to pay their bills. It's going to put food in this person's pot. Like, as in it, you start to realise what you think matters doesn't matter. I could be the person that turns down that person that snaked his brethren on the roads and I don't fuck with him, but somebody else is going to take that deal and they're still going to eat and they're still going to chop it up and it's still going to be great. You start to realise what you think matters, the morals you think matter. They matter in your personal life, but in the real world, they don't. And I feel like that's been the hardest thing in music. People lie. People do lie in their bars and portray to be a completely different person. And before that, I was so against it. Nah, why are they doing that? I want to do a tune with that person. Da, 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 da. Now I don't care. I might still not do a tune with somebody I feel is fabricating their story, but as in, it doesn't matter to me how it used to matter to me then. Back then, I thought it was like literally a sin. Why are you lying? I need to call this person out. I felt a really passionate way about it. But then I've started to realise it doesn't even matter. What matters is literally what I'm doing, the success I'm getting to, because it feeds so many other people. So it's bigger than what people think it is, kind of thing. I think I had to come to that growth, definitely.
Yeah, I think in a short space of time as well, though. I mean, I'm not in any particular incidences, but like I do look at your stories. I'm thinking, oh, like what's triggering you, but it still feels like there's a lot of things that is.
It is. It's hard because what's hard is it's hard. I'm very opinionated, and away from social media, in real life, if I have something to say, I'll say it. But then because social media is now playing a big part of my life because I do music, I want to bring that same forwardness on social media. I want to be able to say what I want to say. I want to be able to address everybody I want to address. But I've had to learn social media. People can take what you've said and perceive it however the hell they want to. They can misconstrue what you said easily. If you talk to me in person, I can say what I'm saying and get across what I'm saying to you. Social media is not that easy. So I've had to kind of learn through that way that I'm speaking to thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people on the internet. They're not all going to pick up what I'm trying to say. So it doesn't even matter. The people who deserve that energy from me is the people that sit in a room with me and actually get to know me on a day-to-day basis. So I've had to kind of like learn how to separate the two, because otherwise I feel like it would send me crazy. The industry, yeah, it's mad. It's a very big difference to real life. Yeah, it is.
So explain to me, so obviously Anthony's your manager, but who else is involved in your team? Or how do you see it now?
I don't really have a big team. I'd say Anthony obviously is just my manager, but I don't really I have a team in terms of like label wise and whatever, but we were speaking about how that changes. In terms of my team in my career and where I see myself in 5-10 years, my team is literally who's in the room, like my close friend, my manager, and that is kind of it. And then as we go along the journey, we meet other people who are going to be a part of this journey. But in terms of my team and my personal, who's coming on me with this journey, there isn't a big team, because things change, don't they? Label teams change and all of these things, there's always a switch up somewhere, but yeah.
I mean, I was trying to not coax you, and I was saying like, oh, like if you get really big, you're gonna change, and your manager was like, nope, she won't change. She'll stay true to the script. Yeah. But you have evolved positively since you've come out of like jail through music, through your manager. Like, so in a positive angle, you can see that you've evolved.
Yeah. Definitely. I definitely feel like I've grown in so many different ways. I've learned a whole lot more. And don't forget, if without music, I wouldn't have met anybody outside of the hood. I'd still be in the hood. I'd still be in a bando. The level of conversations you have doesn't reach a certain place. It's literally just here and that's it. As in, we don't talk about anything more. You don't teach me anything more other than here. I meet Anthony now, even though Anthony met me when I was still in the hood, still doing what I was doing. There's somebody else who can talk to me about West London, South London, Central London, about Lanzarote. I can't even remember where you told me you had a house, and this and that and life, and meeting this person, talking about this. Why you've never been here? You've never tasted this? You've never done this? Like, it's a normal person that's come into my life, and I don't let just anybody in my life, because obviously there's that apprehension, but I've had to let you in my life. You're managing me now, so now when I'm speaking to you, you're actually showing me new things. You're showing me a life that sounds interesting. I actually want to dip into that a little bit more, and it's definitely helped in wanting more for myself. I've been exposed now to more by getting to know somebody like Anthony. I wouldn't have met somebody like Anthony in anywhere kind of thing. I would have never got to know somebody like that. But music obviously has allowed me to meet him, and then also be exposed now to what normal life is, what normal people do, what normal people actually experience. There is life outside of the hood kind of thing, and people don't actually get to see that or know that. So yeah, that's come through also my manager. Like,
it's not worrying, but it's actually just dawned on to me as you're saying it, like how pivotal you are now to other people. Because if you never had the information until you met someone like Anthony, then all the people that you met up into your life, up until that point, probably never met an Anthony. But now you can now almost be an example. Not an example, but they can be like, they'll listen to you now.
But that's the thing, as in, like niggas in the hood don't. Anthony has to tell Anthony has to say, or I need to back up what I'm saying, because I'm still classed as being, I'm still like one of them. I'm still one of my people. Like, as in, what I'm saying is not credible enough yet. But I feel like that's a fault of all of us. That's a fault of people. I think it's ignorance kind of thing. Because it's coming from me, there's niggas that won't hear it. But if Anthony says it, they'll hear it kind of thing. And I just generally feel like that's because we're not exposed to enough. People are asking me, well, how do you know that? But then I have to explain, because Anthony's like, it's that people are not, they don't want to hear it yet until you can show wealth, or you can show status, or you can show a reason why you're saying all of these things. So I feel like that's still a problem, but we'll get there.
Do you find, is it, I mean, I know it's still early on in your career, so to speak, but do you feel pressure at all to try and like fulfill this ambition of making it in music?
I do, but I feel like it's a pressure I put on myself, not because anybody else has put that on me. I feel like because I've been wanting this for however long I've wanted it, now I'm sort of like now here kicking the doors and I'm so close kind of thing. I'm at a good place of where I wanted to be. It's now that added pressure I put on myself of now you're so close, now you need to make it kind of thing. But not because anybody else has put that on me, no. I also feel the pressure from, like we were saying, about all the knowledge and everything that I've learned, giving that to the other hood niggas I know, all the niggas that I have beside me, trying to bring them out of that and show them my world, my new world kind of thing. That's the kind of pressure I feel, because I feel like I'm the only person that has been exposed to anything better. So I need to bring you along on the ride. What are you good at? Oh, you're good at, I don't know, making beats. All right, why don't you try and be in the studio with this person? Or what do you like doing? Oh, you just like doing that. Why don't you try and meet this? That's kind of the position I'm playing right now. But I know it will be easier once I have the money and the foundations and I've got to where I want to get to put everybody on. And that's the pressure I put on myself kind of thing. Like, I want to give everybody around me a way out. Like, not because they've made me feel like they deserve one, but because you're still not seeing that there's more to life, bros. Like, you're not seeing there's more to life besides the hood. There is. So I feel like, yeah, it's pressure I put on myself, but yeah, I definitely feel the pressure. Only because I'm really seeing what life is. And in the hood, you don't see the real meaning of life. What people think is important in life, on the roads, it's not. But you need to come out of that to actually there's so much more to it. So I feel like that's what I'm trying to do right now. But yeah.
Not to draw anyone out, but in the generalistic terms, it would help if there's more unity up amongst women in music. So not in a negative point, but in a positive, how do you think if there was more unity that would help everyone to be more successful? Like, how do you think unity will play a part?
Well, besides female rap, unity in general is important, because that's how you help one brother who doesn't know nothing to come up and elevate, and you just help each other build kind of thing. But in female rap, it would help the same way it would in male rap. If everybody at their peak helped maybe a couple more people underneath them, everybody, like, it just makes more. We're all gonna blow. There's room for us all kind of thing. There's a platform for us all. When you now start to maybe go like this now, somebody you've helped now who's here will now put you on a track, and this, or it's just like you said, it's unity. There can never be anything bad in regards to unity, but we don't have it now in the UK. I don't feel like we will have it anytime soon. Not even in the UK. I feel like it's females in general. I feel like females as a gender are a little bit more competitive and a little bit more envious, I would say. I don't know whether that's just from my experiences. I don't know, but I definitely feel like, yeah, females preach each other a lot more and feel competitive towards one another rather than empowering one another. And you like to think, it sounds good saying female empowerment and blah, 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 but when you actually get 5 females that are trying to do the same thing, there is no such thing as female empowerment, because they're all trying to make it. But I don't know, we just need to do better. We just need to do better.
Let's talk about your EP, Two Sides, right? Now, what's the process of making? That's your first EP?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you approach that in terms of like creating it?
When I created the songs, I didn't know I was creating an EP. I just sort of recorded the music. But I felt like when it was coming to my first project, I wanted to put music together that really sort of showed who I am as a person. Two Sides, when I recorded that, I wasn't sure I was ever going to release that, because it was quite a intimate studio session and I was very like personal. I struggled to to write and especially release music that's very personal kind of thing. Like, I struggle to put my heart on a song. Right now, I'm still trying to, you know, get used to doing that. Two Sides is my introduction, which is speaking on the...
I mean, why do you feel...
Why do I feel like that?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I feel like, I don't know, the internet's a scary place, and obviously I'm still getting used to it. It's only been like a year I've sort of been getting used to how social media has evolved. I don't want to put myself out there for people to judge me. I don't feel like, as in, it doesn't matter what people say about me, but it's still my life though, and you're gonna have your opinions, you're gonna have your comments, you're gonna say what you want to say, and that's great, but it's still my real life. So I would rather be protective of what's personal to me and just feed you what I don't care that you're gonna speak on, kind of thing. That's where I've been throughout the last a few months of my career, but obviously now I'm breaking that barrier, and now I'm realizing I've got fans, I've got supporters that want to get to know the depth. They want to know more than just bars. So I'm doing that for the people that are here to listen and here to actually learn. Maybe I've got a lot of young supporters that watch my story and use it for their own growth, and use my story for decisions that they decide not to make. And people actually use my story in a way they should. So that's what's sort of defeated all the negative thoughts that I had about putting myself out there and just do it. But it's scary. It's definitely scary. That's probably why, yeah, it makes me feel away. But I'm getting there.
I mean, you got your song FCS.
Yeah, IP. That's one of my favourites on that EP.
Yeah. How did that come together then?
Well, me and CS had mutuals already. But then we were supposed to be getting in the studio for a little while before it happened, and then it was sorted through management, and then we just got into the studio. And then yeah, I wrote my first verse before we got into the studio. We wrote the chorus together and bounced off each other energies, and yeah, it was just a good studio session. After that, we linked up. We went to another studio session. After that, there was no management. We just become cool. Like, it was just cool, and we went studio after that. The video shoot was cool. I still speak to. I think I spoke to him maybe like 2 days ago. Like, yeah, it was just built from already knowing of each other, but now, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's with CS. A lot of people don't realize, like, he thinks about a lot of things outside of just like what people think he does. Yeah. Like, he's articulating it, but he has a vision for himself, and like, I can imagine like you guys linking up. You lot must have probably obviously both come from a real situation. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was very. That was very early on as well. Like, my music. That was when I first started working with my manager. It was very, very, very early on. So I was still sort of like figuring out the waters, testing the waters, kind of thing. But no, yeah. For my first feature, he definitely eased me into that whole experience. It was amazing. It was good. Even afterwards, in terms of, you know, posting each other, posting the music, that real back and forth, that real support. Yeah, I've always felt that real support from CS. But then I got told, don't expect it from everybody. So that's how I know he definitely just made me feel good about a new experience, a new situation, working with somebody. I'd never worked with anybody before. So, no, yeah, big him up. I appreciate him. Do you find that I know it's still early on, but how do you view marketing yourself? So like, say for example, I'm a label boss, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to give, and what's a good number? What, 5 million?
For what?
Just say I just want to give like LaVida an album deal. But let's say I want to give her 5 million, yeah? But let's say 5 million, yeah? But I'm going to say to you, look, please tell me, I need you to tell me how I need to market you to be successful. Do you know how you want to be marketed yet? Like,
would I know how I want to be marketed? No. I know what it would mean to stay true to myself, but I'm open to people who know this thing and know this job and know this industry and know what they're supposed to be doing to take their positions and take their control, because I'm still learning. As in, if somebody told me they've been marketing somebody for 20 years and I'm telling you, mate, I don't know, I'm new in the industry, I'm just rapping, I just like to rap, but this is who I am and this is what I want to be added, but you tell me what you can do. I'm more on that side of things than feeling like I want to take creative control in everything, because I don't know everything. So, and I'm okay to admit that. So I wouldn't even answer your question. I'd say, what have you got to offer me to help? And then let's have a conversation and meet in the middle.
No, I like that, because that still shows there's humility, because I do think some people can feel like they know it all. None of us know it all, but yeah, that's great. So for the rest of the year, what do you see as your plans now?
Oh, I'm definitely going to be releasing another project.
Really?
I'd like to think so, yeah, before the end of this year. There's features, there's freestyles. I've got a big catalogue of music. I've got a lot of music. So yeah, I'm not. Do you know what? I'm gonna go ham this year, but that's because I feel like I haven't got enough out there yet. I've only got my EP out. Haven't got, like, I record so much, I write so much. Maybe that's a me thing, but I have so much music. I want everybody to hear it. So like, I just wanna, I wanna go ham. I'm definitely gonna be releasing quite a few things this year. But coming up next is just a lot of features coming right now.
Okay, features. So do you reckon it'll be another EP then for you though?
Yeah, I think yeah. We should have another EP in this year.
And then with the features, like, are you not particular, but how do you know whether you want to work with someone on a track? Is it the music? Is it the opportunity? Or is it a bit of both?
It's a mixture of things. For one, it's what you're talking about, because in terms of being a female, in terms of how I rap, people are quick to tell me I'm lying. People are quick to literally disregard my word, but they don't even know me. They're just listening and watching for the first time. What you're saying is what you're saying, and you're also speaking your truth, because if you're not speaking your truth, and I know you're not speaking your truth, and then we're now to do a tune together, I'm now just putting myself out there to be told that I'm lying, when really I don't need to. So it's not like I'm fussy as in you have to be a road and talking what you're talking. Talk about girls or something, or talk about cars, and talk about money, talk about drip, but don't talk like you're bad if it's not that, because we're not doing all of that. I just like honesty. Music is literally expression, so I want you to be expressing realness, not fake. But besides that, opportunity as well, I'm still building where I'm trying to get to. And yeah, I also have to think you're talented. It's not just opportunity. You're a big artist, but I think you're shit. That's not gonna get me. And then you could tell me for days that no, but this is gonna be good, but no, you shit though, and there's nothing I can do with the song. Like, yeah, no, I feel like there's a lot of realness to my decisions. I feel like my decisions are just based on how I feel, how I think, and there's not really much else to it. There's not a formula to it. It's just, is this real? Is it not? Do I like it? Do I not? Okay, cool. Let's move forward. Let's not. There's not really that much more complicated than that.
Yeah, and I do think that I am seeing, obviously, there are things that you're working on that what we spoke on for now, but the opportunities seem to be like opening up, and I think people are slowly getting to understand. But I won't say envy, but envy is a real thing. Have you noticed people changing towards you now, even at this stage of your career?
Yeah, definitely. I've watched people support me when I was still trying to, get somewhere, and then I've got to what I think is good, and then people start to support you less and not really want to be like, I don't know. I feel like people's energies is weird. I just feel like that's what I've noticed about people. So I don't really expect too much from people anymore. I just think reactions speak louder than words. It's either you're here or you're not. It's either you fuck with me or you don't. And if you don't, I'm still doing what I'm doing. I've kind of learned to not care too much, because I've definitely seen people act a certain kind of way. I've had people that are supposed to be close family members. I've had my own family members support me, but try and then talk bad about me and try and get negative information out there to try and sort of disrupt what I'm doing, or just try and not.
When you come out doing music now?
Yeah, like literally doing music. There's family members I don't speak to because they're not honestly supporting me, kind of things, kind of like trying to work against me. I've had some mad experiences in terms of gaining what I feel is not success, but I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. I've got to a point where now people are not still seeing me as the girl that went to jail, fucked up her life. People are now seeing, oh, she's gonna make something of herself, and that's what the opinions have changed. So when that's happened now, I've seen the flip of how people are now acting towards me. I've seen people when I wasn't expected to be shit, are all there for me, but now you're seeing that I could be something. You're now trying to fuck with it. You're now trying to shit on it. You're now trying to talk about me. You're now trying to not be around me. You're now trying to just be against me. And I don't get why that energy's for, but yeah, I just learned not to care.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
But it definitely made me realise a lot of people didn't think I was ever going to do anything better with my life. That's what I noticed about actually achieving what I wanted to achieve in terms of going into music. When I've done what I've wanted to do and got to a certain kind of place in my music, I've realised, there was a lot of people that really didn't think I was going to do anything other than road, because they're shot. I'm not a good shot, they're a bad shot that I'm doing something better. So yeah, it's definitely an eye-opener, but that's why my circle's small now.
Yeah, I can imagine. But like I said, I think even the things we've been talking about off the camera, like you have you're still developing, but you have a positive mindset that you know, like literally hard work, you can probably get all that you want in the music industry. Is there like I mean, because I'm not a creative, but when you like, for example, if you drop a video, are you like looking to see how many views it's got? Are you like,
no, with me it's more before the video drops and the song. I pick up my recording, how my voice sounds. Oh, I don't like how that sounds. And even when the video before it's dropped is, oh, you can see a bra strap, or you can see this, or I don't like how I look there. I pick up my audio. I pick at the visuals. But when it's out, then that's when I relax now. I have a release and then I'm chilling for the whole week now. Like, I don't care. It's out there now. And whatever people take of it, they take of it. But I've achieved what I wanted to. The project looks how I wanted it to look. I'm happy with everything else. The comments and whatever is just the views. It is that. When I need to know that my views is good and I'm where I need to know, that's when my phone's going to be ringing after I release every single minute in 24 hours, you get it? When I need to know them things, I will know about it. Until then, I don't care. I'm just doing what I'm doing and just getting my journey completed, kind of thing.
Now do you know it's great. I'm going to sound so ignorant. You seem so level-headed. Like, no, it's like it's not like I was expecting you not to be, but.
That's because of why I went to prison. But then this is what I tried to explain to people. Even in my crime, I was level-headed. It's not like I think people have this weird illusion of you lose control and you don't know what you're doing. My first case was arson. I burnt my ex's house down. People think in that situation I was just in a blaze. I didn't know what it was. No, I knew what I was doing. I knew there was cameras. I knew potentially I could go to prison. I didn't think I was going to get arrested, but as in, that's a possibility, but I didn't. That's another story, but I didn't think I was actually going to get arrested, but I was just going along with it. When I did get arrested, it wasn't, oh no, I've been arrested or what's happened. It was just literally, cool. And I'm very level-headed, but that's because, I don't know, I've always been like that. And now it's coming out and choosing to do music. People are scared or might fear that, she could go back to jail, or she might get too angry and do this. No, because when I went to jail, I knew I was going to jail. I accepted I was going to get a sentence. When I caught extra time in prison before I committed that crime, I acknowledged, right, you might get extra time for this. Fuck it, man. You get extra time for it. Like, as in, everything is a choice. I believe life is a choice. You either do it or you don't. And if you don't do it, there's a consequence. If you do it, there's a consequence. I've always been kind of that way. Just because I've done some things people might think is erratic, I was still level-headed making them erratic decisions. Does that make sense?
Also, you were young.
Yeah, I was definitely younger, which is why my decision-making is different. But them options are not different. It doesn't mean I'm going to get into a situation tomorrow and still think, do I want to beat her up or I shouldn't? I'm going to choose now I shouldn't because I've got things to lose. I've got music, I've got this, I've got that. So that's me being grown and me thinking a bit more about where life is now at 22. Why I wouldn't do that at 16. I still know the wrongs and rights of whether I should assault this person, but I've got nothing to lose, so let me do it. I've never not been level-headed. I've been very in control of how I am and how I think and how I feel and how I act. But I feel like people sort of discredit you for that when you've done like some things that might not be.
They hit a crime and think it must have been a fit of rage.
No. I've always been level-headed.
That's crazy still, man. It's crazy to think that just so young you've been through so much. And you still have so much more.
More to go through. I know. So much more. Anthony was saying he's like double my age, so he was saying imagine living 20 more years. I thought, it's a lot. I've got a long life left to live. I feel so old though. I definitely feel old.
You feel you've been through a lot, innit?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I feel so much older than what I am. I forget how old I am, but yeah. But it makes me excited, the fact that, oh wait, shit, you're only 22, you got bare things to do, you got bare life to live. Like, it makes me excited. It makes me happy that I've done everything back then, because now I don't care to party, I don't care to be out there no more. I've done all the partying, done all the out there-ness, the ratchetness, the staying out for nights on end and doing all that. I've done all of that. Now it's just, I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered with people. I just want to do what I'm doing, what I'm focused on, and just live a peaceful life. Like, but that only came with experience, everything young. I definitely feel like, so yeah.
And then closing, because I know you got to shoot off for another session, which is good. This is Look at Life. You're doing interviews, you're doing sessions. What is it? And it is. That's what it's all. Like, is there anything you want to clear up, or is there anything that you think people? I mean, maybe we've already spoken about. Is there anything that you think they get wrong about your character?
I feel like when people listen to my music, they expect me to carry myself a certain kind of way. Like, people have a stereotype to what they think being bad is, or how you should act or be, or the things I talk about, I shouldn't act like this or look like this. I should look like this and act like this. But I feel like people are just ignorant, and I don't know. It's definitely ignorance, because the fact that you think crime or that kind of life has a look to it, that's why you're ignorant. And the fact that you think that someone who is trying to not be arrested again or stopped by the police or have any kind of issues with the system or whatever is going to carry themselves that way still is also childish. If I was still doing crime, it's not that I'm going to carry myself like that. Why? You get stopped every week and you're not even doing anything. I don't get stopped. I haven't been stopped since I've been out of prison. If I do ever get my name gets ran through by police, they're shocked by my record. They're shocked to read what they're reading of me, and that's how it should be. That's how society should be. It's wolves in sheep's clothing. I think that's the saying. That's how I've always been told to navigate in terms of that world. Although I'm out of that world or trying to be out of that world, that's how I've always been taught how to navigate. So the fact that social media or everybody else feels like that's how I should look or be makes me just think, you lot are stupid. Because if I acted or tried to portray myself how you lot think I should, I'd be bagged. I'd be back in jail by now. Do you get it? So I just want people to understand, like, what you think I should be, you're never going to get that from me. The road girl act and fam and this. I don't talk like that. I articulate myself like a lady, because I am a lady first and foremost. Everything else about me you don't need to know unless you need to know, kind of thing. So I don't understand why that matters. But my story and what I'm rapping is still my story. Whether you choose not to listen to it because of how I look, that's your ignorance, kind of thing. But yeah, no, I'd love for people to actually know that there's more to me than just that. I'm still a normal 22-year-old girl. I was only talking on live yesterday about my favourite film is Bring It On. That's a cheerleading film. Like, I love them kind of films, like kind of like chick flicks, and I don't like anything besides that. I cry if my nail breaks, and I'm still, do you know what I mean? I still want people to know that I'm a 22-year-old girl. Like, I've gone to jail and I've done this and done that, but don't hold that on me. Don't make me feel like I have to live up to them expectations and standards, because now I'm out of jail, I'm doing music. Now, more than ever, I just want to be a normal 22-year-old girl. Now I feel like I'm going into opportunities where I can be normal. I can drop that whole persona, that whole reputation, that whole thing, and just be normal. But it's like, nah, because now the internet are expecting you to still carry yourself like that. Nah, just accept that my life has been my life, but I'm a big glittery unicorn.